Howdy guys, lovely to see you all again. You guys have been harassing me constantly, or at least a few of you have. Here it is. Here's Paradigm by Avenged Sevenfold. You pushy jerks. Like, just go take a look in the mirror and just think, did this man deserve this? Did he deserve to be harassed this much? Anyway, hopefully this will shut you up for 20 minutes. Let's take a look. Alright, what a delightful solo. Before we get too excited though, we just need to talk about the tuning, which is drop C sharp, which goes C sharp, G sharp, C sharp again, F sharp, A sharp, and a D sharp. So get yourself in tune and we'll get started. Alright guys, let's have a look at the first section. We're going to start off with essentially a G minor arpeggio. I want to start from 8th fret of the 2nd string. I'm going to play 8th fret, then jump to 7 of the 3rd, and then play 8 of the 4th, and 10 of the 5th. Then I'm going to just ascend that forwards. So just reverse my steps, and then when I get to the first string, I'm going to play 6, 10, 9, 6. So all together. And obviously when you're playing that at full speed, you might need to get some gentlemanly sweeping involved as well. At the end of that, I'm going to play 8, 7 on the 2nd string. Okay, then I work into this phrase. So what I've got here, it's kind of like a bit of an augmented-y sound. I'm doing a flat finger sweep from the 7th fret of the 4th string, and I've got three 7th frets in a row. I'm playing the 4th, the 3rd, and the 2nd string. You'll notice I'm using my middle finger for that, and then I jump to the 1st string on 6th fret, and then I'm working with sort of a pentatonic with a cheeky flat 5 in here. That nice chromaticism there. I was playing 10, 9, 8, and then 6 on the 1st string. At the end of that, I'm going to play 8, 6 on the 2nd. So let's go from that gross augmented sweep. Let's put both of those arpeggios together from the start now. Hopefully that's making sense. Then the next thing I've got is basically a B flat major if we're in standard tuning, starting from 8th fret of the 4th string. So let's go over this arpeggio shape a little bit slower. I'm playing 8 of the 4th, 7 of the 3rd string, and then 6 with a flat finger from the 2nd to the 1st. At the end of that, let's slow that down. I'm playing 10, 8, 6 on the 1st string. Then I'm going to play 8, 6 to 5 on the 2nd string. Hopefully that's making sense. At the end of that, I'm going to play 6, 5, 6 on the 2nd string, and then do a big-ass bend from 8. So I think it's a tone and a half from 8th fret. Then I'm going to bring it back down, and then just hit 8 at its rest position, if that makes sense. So that's sort of the first half of section 1. Let's try that at a gentleman's pace, and then we'll add the second half to it. Hopefully that's making sense. We go back into a G minor arpeggio, but this one is a little bit different. It does have a string skip, which is a bit of a pain in the ass as well. So the start of that, I'm starting from 10 of the 5th string. I'm doing a straight triad, playing 10 of the 5th, 8 of the 4th, and 7 of the 3rd, but then I want to hammer into 8 there. Now what's weird about this is I have a string skip, and I jump to 6 of the 1st string, and I'm going to go 6, 10, 8, 6. At the end of that, exactly the same as what we had at the end of the first little chunk, which was 8-7 on the second string. So let's try that arpeggio into that little shred run. From that point, the augmented sweep into the shred's the same. And then the B flat sweep is the same as well. Just at the end of this section, though, we're not going to hit that big bend again. We'll just end on the tone and a half bend up and back. And then we'll have a look at the next section from there. So that's pretty much all of section 1. It's nearly the same thing twice. It's just the G minor arpeggio is a little bit different on the second time. Let's try the whole thing at a gentleman's pace, and then we'll do it again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Alright guys, let's take a look at section 2. This is a little bit more redonk. We're going to start off with a very similar arpeggio that we had at the start of section 1. It's exactly the same up until that 8th fret of the 2nd string. I'll spare you the details of repeating myself, and then it goes into this. So as soon as I've hit an 8 of the 2nd string, I'm going to work into sort of a bit of a chromatic idea. So I go 8, 7, 6 on the 2nd. And then I want to hit 9 of the 3rd. Then I'm going to play 7, 8, 9, and then do a squeal bend. Just a cheeky pinch harmonic there. So let's have a look at what we've got from the start at a gentleman's pace. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to go back to the B flat major arpeggio shape, but I'm going to start from the 2nd string from 6th fret. So I'm going to go. So it's very, very similar to what we had before. After I've played the 2nd string, I'm going to sweep up from the 4th string. Then from that point, I'm going to play 10, 8, 6 on the 1st, and then just 8, 6 on the 2nd. So we're not going back to 5 this time. Actually, we are going back to 5. From that point, I work into a big, long chromatic run, which is this. So what I'm doing there is I'm just playing 8, 7, 6, 5 on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th string. I had to watch so much footage of him playing this, and I thought it was something crazy, but really he's just using that same shape across all 3 of those strings. Alright, let's go from the start of the section at a gentleman's pace, and then we'll put that next chunk with it as well. Okay, so from when I've hit 5 of the 5th string, that's the beginning of a new bar, it's going to work into this phrase. Then it goes into some crazy tapping stuff there as well. So I'm going to start off by playing 5 of the 5th string, and then I want to play 8, 7, 5 on the 6th. Keep in mind that this is going to be still in that drop C sharp tuning, so the intervals might be a little bit weird to your ear when you're actually playing solos in drop tuning. So at that point, I'm going 8, 7, 5, and then I want to slide to 3 and then back to 5 again. Okay, from that point, I'm going to hammer 7 to 8, and I'm going to hit 5 of the 5th. So we're going to go from that point. I'm going to play 5, 7, 8 as a hammer-on the 4th string. Okay, from that point, let's slow that down. I've got a very, very small sweep here. I'm playing 7 of the 3rd string to 7 of the 2nd, then hammering to 8. Then from that point, I'm going to hammer 10, 11, 13 on the 2nd. Okay, let's have a look at the start of this chunk again. Hopefully that makes sense. So what I'm doing here is I'm hammering 10 to 15 twice on the 1st string. Then I want to hammer 11 to 14. And that's nearly diminished. I'm hammering 11 to 14 and then sliding to 18. So it'll go into some crazy tapping stuff after that. Let's have a look at what we've got from the start of the section at a gentleman's pace, and then we'll add that last little chunk to it. Hopefully that's making sense. Okay, then from this point, I'm going to do exactly the same tapping lick over 3 octaves. It's really nice. It's just a cheeky little descend. So I'm tapping 22 on the first string and then pulling off 18, 17, 15. Then down the octave, I'm going to play 19 of the third and then pull off 15, 14, 12. And then I'm going to do on the 5th string 17, 13, 12, 10. Back to back. Okay, at the end of that, I think you can just get away with doing hammer-ons from nowhere. If you want to pick this, you can. I'm going to pick 10 again on the 5th string. Needs to be hit one way or the other. So I'm going to play 10, 13, and then hammer back to 17. So it's going to be almost the same thing in reverse. We're just skipping out one of those middle fingers. When I jump up the octave, it's going to play 12, 15, 19, obviously with a cheeky tap. And then when I jump up to the last octave, I was playing 15, 18, 22. When I pull off that tap, I'm going to slide into 20 and then bend that up a full tone. And it goes to do all of that fun biz. So let's go from the tap idea. We'll go right back to the start of the section after that, put it all together, and then look at it with some tabs. So here we go. All right, to the start now. One more time with some tabs. All right, guys, let's have a look at the third section. We're going to sort of be dancing around a D minor pentatonic for instead tuning. So I'm going to have a big bend from 13 of the second string. At the end of that, I've got to pull off from 13 to 10. At the end of that, I have a tone and a half bend from 14 of the third string. That goes into this. Now, the counting of this is kind of strange. The way I think of it is, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then a 7th pick. And that middle 6 is 2 triplets in a row. So I go. Now, you notice what I'm doing at the end there. Instead of pulling down and working to 12, I'm going from that bend and then catching the top of that tone and a half bend with my pointer finger on 12th fret. So we can hear the down part from the 12 instead of the 14. So this is what we should have from the top at a gentleman's pace. You can back pick that if it's easier. Then I work into this phrase. So I've got a cheeky hammer on from 10 to 12 on the third string. Then I work into this phrase, this quick little bluesy pull-off idea 5 times. Pretty simple. I'm doing a bend from 12 of the third up and back, pulling off to the 10, then jumping to 12 of the fourth, and as I said, I'm going to do that 5 times. Hopefully that's making sense. Then I work into this phrase. All right, let's slow that down. I'm going to do a bend from 12 of the third string and then quickly hit 14 of the second string. So I go 12 of the third, quickly hitting 14 of the second string, and then I want to bend from 14 of the third as well. After I've brought it down, I'm just working down the pentatonic. Keep in mind I've got a dumb position shift at the end because we have the drop tuning. So all I was doing there was a pull off from 12 to 10 on the third string. Then I've just got a couple of chromatics within that pentatonic. I was playing 12, 11, 10 on the 4th and the 5th string. At the end of that, I'm just playing 15 to 12 on the 6th string. Hopefully that's making sense. So that's pretty much all of section 3. Let's try that again at a gentleman's pace, and then again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Alright guys, let's have a look at the fourth section. I'm going to start off with this kind of weird diminished augmented climb. I'm going to start off with this. Let's slow that down. I'm going to play 15, 12, 15 on the 6th string. Then I'm going to jump to 11 of the 5th. Then I've got this mini sweep, which is going 12, 11, 10 from the 6th to the 4th. And then I'm hammering on to 12 of the 4th string. So all together. Okay, then I'm going to hit the 12 again, and then I'm going to hammer from 10 to 13 twice. Okay, then I'm going to hammer 10, 13, and then pull off back to 10 on the 2nd string. And it's going to be that group. At the end of that, what I've got here is kind of like a little bluesy idea, I guess. I'm going from 14 of the 3rd string, and then I'm hammering 13, 15, 13 as a hammer-on into a pull-off on the 2nd, and then returning to that 14. So all together. After that, I work into this little cheeky sweep thing. Let's slow that down. It's nearly the same thing 3 times. We just change a couple of notes. So I was playing 17 of the 3rd, 15 of the 2nd, and 13 of the 1st. Then I want to hammer to 16 on the 1st string, and then I'm going to reverse down that sweep. You might actually end it on 15 of the 2nd string, so that when we go back to the 17, that will be the beginning of a new sweep. So we'll go like this. I'm going to do exactly the same thing, but this time I'm going to end with a hammer on to 15 instead of 16. So let's try both of those back to back. I'm going to repeat that 16 sweep again. So we're going to go 16, 15, 16, and then it'll end on a bend after that. So before the bend, I'm going to hit that 17 one more time. So 17 of the 3rd, and then I had a bendy vibrato from 20 of the 1st string. So let's go from those cheeky sweeps. Let's go right back to the start of the section, and we'll deal with that crazy shred that's about to happen. Hopefully that's making sense. The next bit is pretty crazy. You basically just have to combine shredding and sweeping and just pray while you're doing it. It's pretty terrifying. We'll go through it. It does repeat one of the patterns 3 times though, so it's not all completely different, terrifying information. The start of it, I'm going to play 15, 16, 20 on the 1st string and then reverse that. Okay, then after that, I'm going to play 18 of the 2nd and 17 of the 3rd. And when I get to the top of that, so it's like a mini sweep here, what I'm doing here is I'm pulling off 18, 17, 18 on the 5th string. I've seen when Syns does it live, he uses these fingers because he's a magical wizard, but I can't do that. I'm using my pointer and my middle. So it's going 18, 17, 18 is a pull-off hammer. Then I just work my way back down the arpeggio. 17 of the 3rd, 18 of the 2nd. So let's try and put those notes together. That's going to be our first repetition of that concept 3 times. So I'll play it 3 times in a row now. At the end of the 3rd time, it goes like this. So it almost does a 4th. We're going to do that rolling group of 5 notes on the 1st string. I then jump to 18 of the 2nd string. And then do a bend from 20 of the 1st. And that's the end of the section. So let's go from this psychotic shred into the big bend, and then we'll take the whole section from the start. Alright, right back to that weird diminished augmented guy at the start of the section, and then we'll do it again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. All right, guys, let's have a look at section 5. We're going to start off with a cheeky signature Syn chromatic. Nice and cheery there. So I'm starting from 17 to the 1st string. Then I'm going to play 16, 17, 18, 17, 16. And then I have 2 17s at the end of that. Let's go from the start. You can add a little slide entry as well if you want to. Whatever keeps it sort of as jolly as it needs to be, then it goes. Let's slow that down. I'm playing 15, 18, 17, 15, and then I want to slide to 12. Okay? And I've got a cheeky grace note from 14 to 15 as a hammer on the second string. Okay? After that, I start working into some crazy diminished stuff. Would help if I slid up 3 frets every time. I'll work on it. So what we're going to do here is do a pull off from 14 to 11 on the second string. Then I play 12 of the third and then 14 of the fourth. That's going to pull off to 11, and that's going to be sort of my first shape of that diminished idea. And then I bring it back 3 frets and then just ascend the exact same shape. So when I bring it back to 8 now, it's the same shape. I'm playing 8, 11 on the fourth, 9 of the third, and then hammering 8, 11 on the second string. So it's going to go... At the end of that, I slide back to the 14 again. So I've ended up back where we started. Let's put that together from the start. Hopefully that's making sense. Then with my spare pinky here, let's slow that down. I'm going to slide from 15 to 18 on the first string. We're going to work through a pretty traditional diminished shape here. I'm pulling off 18 to 15, then playing 17 of the second, and then pulling 18 to 15 off on the third string. So we've got... From that point, I'm going to slide back to 12 and then reverse that shape back up again. So I'm going to hammer 12, 15, play 14 of the second, and then hammer 12, 14 on the 15, on the first string. So we're going to have this. At the end of that, I'm going to slide back to 18, and then I'm going to tap 24, and then do a big ass bend. So let's go from the start of these diminished ideas. Hopefully that's making sense. After that, I work into some angry bends. So what I've got here is I'm playing 22 of the first string and then bending 24 of the second. I've got one angry one and then a group of 3. I do exactly the same thing from 17 and 19. I've got sort of an abrasive, not quite a resolve-y sound as our usual unison bends. These ones are a little bit more gross because they kind of almost end a semitone or a tone apart. I'm going to do the same thing for 15 and 13. Now the last one actually has 3 notes in it. I'm going to play 10 of the first, 13 of the second, and 12 of the third. Bend the third string, and then the last bit. Meat and veg unison bends. I was playing 8 of the second, 10 of the third. Then I was playing 3 of the second and 5 of the third for that last bend. So let's go from the bendy idea. All right, let's go back to the start when we had that cheeky little circus chromatic-y idea. We'll put it all together relatively slowly and then do it again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. And that was the solo from Paradigm by Avenged Sevenfold. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And please click the links in the description box to my Patreon and my Learn That Solo on Facebook. It really supports me, it really helps out, and lets me stay in touch with you guys. Anyway, take care. I'll catch you all very soon.